The old saying is, if plan A doesn't work, there's always plan B. But of course, plan A is what we always want. You don't want plan B. But sometimes you have no choice. You have to go to plan B. We will now learn that sometimes plan B gets you to even a greater place than even plan A. So what's plan A? Plan A is that we do mitzvahs, and we do them right. We do the mitzvahs the way they are supposed to be done, and we commit ourselves to living such a life, connecting to God, never straying from the path, always connected. That's plan A. But what happens if you strayed from the path? Heaven forfend. Distorted the course. What does that mean to distort the course? I'm throwing it out there. If you didn't put on your tefillin today, yet, I mean, you still can. You didn't give charity. You didn't say the Shema today, this morning. What does that mean? It means there was a holiness that you didn't introduce into this world. You diminished that light of God, the efflux that you could have elicited by doing that mitzvah, by saying the Shema, putting on your tefillin, giving charity. The infinite of light of God was not introduced and not brought into this world. So now what? It's a missed opportunity. Can't bring back the opportunity. Yes, the following day there's another opportunity to do that mitzvah for today. But every day has its opportunity. But that light is gone. Can't be brought back. So what do we do? How do we rectify? So the only way we can rectify is by a supreme light that transcends the worlds. Because the mitzvah that we do is a light that is imbued within the world. We elicit through a mitzvah a light that is contracted and is part of the world. But when we miss to bring it into the world, that light that vests itself into the world, now we have to bring a light that's beyond the world to, so to speak, fill the gaps of what we missed previously. Because that transcendent light is then a light that is not limited and will fill up the gaps. This is what's called chesed ilah, a superior form of kindness, or rav chesed, an abundant kindness. In other words, it radiates without limits. Right? In other words, there's a kindness that's contracted, that is limited and finite form of kindness, like the kindness of giving charity between 10% minimum, 20% maximum. That's a limited form of kindness. But if we've strayed from the path and now there's gaps, so to speak, in the divine light that we did not introduce into this world, how do we rectify it? By reaching beyond the world to a light that's encompassing, that will fill all the gaps. And of course, that means in a form of charity. Action. So, being that now we introduce this supreme light, supreme kindness that is encompassing, it encompasses those gaps, and what we've done is created a new light that's even greater than what we would have had in plan A. Plan A, if we do everything the way we're supposed to, it brings a limited light into this world. Plan B, once we've now failed, we now need to do penitence, tshuva. Tshuva is a light that is infinitely greater than the world. That's what it introduces. That's what it elicits. And that's why our sages taught that in a place and the level of the penitent, where they stand, the perfectly righteous cannot stand there. Meaning, you failed plan A. Plan B gets us even to a greater place than plan A. Because plan B is able to touch the core of the divine. Tshuva touches God himself, not just the light of God, but God himself. And therefore it brings greater light into this world than we would have if we just do the will of God in plan A, fulfilling exactly how he says to fulfill everything, to the iota, to every iota. More on what this means in the forthcoming class and how that translates. That's the idea so far. Okay, I see some questions here. I hope I didn't miss. Joseph, how would how would you quantify giving of oneself and personal sacrifice? How much should we give of ourselves? Mm-hmm. So that's a good question, and it's really tomorrow's class will deal with that precisely. The idea over here, what we're learning, is that tshuva, penitence, means touching the transcendence of God, to touch God himself in such a manner that you elicit the transcendent infinite light of God that fills the gaps of the things that we were lacking in our lives. So giving in that way is not sacrifice. It's sacrificing yourself in the sense that you are connecting to a much higher sense of self. And there's no limitation. What does that mean exactly? Tomorrow we'll deal with it. Andrew, does tshuva bring an ongoing light and connection, or a brand new light based on the tshuva in connecting to God? Excellent question. So tshuva, every mitzvah that we do, King Solomon said, there's nothing new under the sun. Right? And Einstein said, E equals mc squared. Energy and matter just interchange. There's nothing new. Different form, but nothing new. Except for a mitzvah. A mitzvah creates a union above between the male and female of the divine. And in that union that it creates, right, it creates a new light. A new light that's introduced into this world that's beyond the sun. Right? Now, that light could be a contracted and limited light, as is what we spoke about in the first part, that the light is coming through God, from God's kindness, but it's brought into God's gvura, his contraction, and therefore the mitzvahs have a delimiter to it, have a boundary and how they have to be fulfilled in time and space to connect. But then when we do tshuva, Tshuva is creating the union above. By our tshuva, we create the union in the divine above. That now brings a new light. Now that new light is a transcendent light that we've created. It's a new light. It's transcendent. That we are eliciting from on high. That's beyond the world. And therefore, it's supernal kindness rather than a kindness of the world, which as the world is defined by time and space, so the mitzvah is defined by time and space, but this is a supernal one that's transcendent beyond the world. Okay, thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Mordechai and Simcha and everybody for your amazing, beautiful comments. A reminder, Torah studies today at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. That's New York time, Montreal time. California would be 3:30, right? If you're in Israel, it's going to be 2:30 in the morning. Germany will be 1:30 in the morning. Yes. And of course, there's Rambam right now coming up. All right. And then, of course, there's TRC tonight, Tanya Rabbi Community. And you want to come? I promise you want to come. Because after you come, you'll see why you want to come. For those who don't come. Marla has a question. Can only a Jew say the Shema? No. A non-Jew isn't obliged to say the Shema, but they could say the Shema. A Jew is obliged to, a Jewish man is obliged to say the Shema. Alice, so do the mitzvahs don't count unless we do them absolutely perfect? No. Absolutely. It depends. You need to know how to do the mitzvah. There's details in it, so you can't say absolutely perfect. No, if it's not done absolutely perfect, doesn't mean you didn't do the mitzvah. But sometimes it could be. Depends what is not done correctly. Right? It's the don't get paranoid about doing mitzvahs and not doing them right. Learn on how to do it right, and if you didn't do it right till now, okay. So do tshuva and you'll do it. You'll be more careful. That's part of the plan, is that, we don't do it right. You think we do things right? We try and we learn. Don't get paranoid about if you didn't, oh my gosh, what's going to be? It's going to be good. The fact that you're trying to do the mitzvah, so you're in the right path. So that's why we have to learn to make sure that whatever mitzvahs we're doing, that we do them properly. So, ask your local rabbi, if you're a local Chabad rabbi, if you're doing the mitzvah right. And or learn the code of Jewish law in that particular area, right? And observing Shabbos and observing holiday, so on and so forth. All right, folks. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zich and Kadesh in Montreal, Canada. It's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you, Tanya. Have an amazing, great day, a good tavach, good week, and we'll see you later.